Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode number 29. Have you ever thought about what you should consider today? So the passage today is going to ask us to consider our love, and if it's found lacking, then to actually consider his discipline. Listen to this. It's a little bit of a crazy passage. It's from Deuteronomy chapter 11. You shall therefore love the Lord your God and keep his charge, his statutes, his rules, and his commandments always. Consider today, since I'm not speaking to your children who have not known or seen it, consider the discipline of the Lord your God, his greatness, his mighty hand, his outstretched arm, his signs and his deeds that he did in Egypt to Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, and to all his land, and what he did to the army of Egypt, to their horses and chariots, how he made water of the Red Sea flow over them as they pursued after you, and how the Lord has destroyed them to this day, and what he did to you in the wilderness until you came to this place, and what he did to Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, the sons of Reuben, how the earth opened up its mouth and swallowed them up with their households, their tents, and every living thing that followed them in the midst of all Israel. But your eyes have seen the great work of the Lord that he did. So he starts today and says, therefore, love the Lord. Because of some stuff, because the Lord set his heart in love on you. So this is from Deuteronomy chapter 10. Because he chose you, not because of your shininess, but because of his choice. So loving the Lord is emotional and relational. It's of the heart and it's of intents. And it's also of the hands. It's also keeping his charge, obeying his rules, and let the commandments of the Lord shape your heart and the behavior of his followers. As we concluded yesterday, there's no such thing as a fruitful, functioning, fellowshipping Christian who thinks wrongly, walks in error, fears not the Lord, is commandment optional, serves poorly, and doesn't love. So Christian is as Christian does. Practical continuance is the test of the reality of Christianity, and practicing this moral will of God is evidence of the will to abide with God. So practical continuance, and that being observable, is a test of reality. So a practical question is today, are you inclined to obey, to follow, to submit? And if I sliced your heart open, would I find an inclination to obey? Would I find a heart that agrees with the Lord, that joins with his people for good and for bad, for serves when inconvenient, that loves the widow, the orphan, and the sojourner? So let's just say, for argument's sake, no for today. How do I fix this? Well, he says here today, and that is, the big point, is consider. So consider when, consider what, consider who, and consider from whom. So let's start with consider when. He says, consider when today. And thanks for being here at this podcast today. And then what of tomorrow? Well, tomorrow is going to be a today soon enough. And then the consideration that the Lord asks you to do every today will be for you on that future day. He doesn't say, carefully here now, he doesn't say put off this consideration until tomorrow. Because then that tomorrow you put it off for the next day, and then that becomes yet another tomorrow, and the result is you never consider. So in a sense, all we have are our considerations for today. And then we'll do them again tomorrow when that becomes today. So consider them now and in all future nows. He's poetically saying, don't forget this today or ever. All right, so consider when, and then consider what? Well, consider his discipline. Reconsider his discipline. Then the discipline of the Lord that was for that previous day can also be for this day. And remembering that yesterday's spanking can inform today's speech and plans and actions in spiritual posture. So if I remember the spankings of yesterday, I won't get a spanking today. So discipline from the Lord can assist in our disciplines with the Lord. Spankings from the Lord can assist our focused behaviors in the Lord. So previous spankings can assist our current conduct. And then consider who. consider the discipline that the Lord did to you personally. So it says you guys remember some things, but then consider those around you. Think about Pharaoh and think about the Egyptians, and consider that the Lord enacted on people not of himself, of the Egyptians. So discipline from the Lord can assist our disciplines in the Lord. So he says to consider your spankings for sure, but also open your eyes to the spankings of those near and far. And then from whom? So we have a God who disciplines and prunes those he loves. John 15, verse 1 says this so beautifully. I'm the true vine, and my Father is the vine dresser. Every branch in me that does not bear fruit, he takes away. And every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes, that it may bear more fruit. So he asks in the passage today, consider his greatness, consider his might, consider his signs, consider his deeds, consider what he's done, the great work that he's done. So as we conclude, if I sliced your heart open, would I find a heart that's inclined to obey him, a heart that loves him, that agrees with him and joins with him and serves and loves? So he asks us to consider our affection of love toward the Lord. And if lacking, if the love in our heart is lacking, then consider the disciplines of the Lord's, the spankings. And what kind of discipline? Well, the when of the spankings, and the what of the discipline, and the who of the discipline. Then let your considerations that you think about considering the discipline inform our conduct and our affection. So consider your love, and if it's lacking, then consider his discipline and his spankings. Thanks for listening.